Right.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Mundia. We're here to talk about, first of all, our guest is Lennox Omondi, and he would like to talk to us about social entrepreneurship. So I'd like to give a brief introduction about him so that he can now get into depth about himself. Lennox Omondi is the CEO and founder of Eco-Bana Limited. He's also the Hult Prize Winner for 2022, the STG 5 champion. He's also a climate activist and a menstrual hygiene management champion. He has a bachelor's degree in nursing and currently pursuing his second degree in mass communication, majoring in public relations and marketing at St. Paul's University. He's also an ambassador of sustainability with Global Ambassadors of Sustainability, Dubai, where he's also a fellow with Kektil Design Thinking Program. That is such an extensive resume. Maybe Lennox could share some light on how he got there and maybe some of his achievements. Karibu sana, Lennox.
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. It is quite a good one. Yeah, so my name is Lennox Omondi and founder of Eco-Bana Limited, which is a social enterprise that manufactures biodegradable sanitizer using banana fibers. I'm still a student. I'm a third-year student at St. Paul's University. I'm pursuing my second degree at mass communication, but I'm majoring on public relations and marketing. And with everything that I've been able to do, most of them I've been able to achieve through volunteerism. I started almost all of my work as a volunteer, as a student, and as a freshman. And from all that period of point where I started my journey of social entrepreneurship, I've been able to walk the journey and get quite good number of awards on both social entrepreneurship, both economic entrepreneurship, menstrual hygiene management, menstrual hygiene, health, and sustainable development goal number 5, that is gender equality. Yeah, that's who I am.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for shedding some light on more about yourself. Maybe before we start, we could start off with a word of prayer. Anyone willing to open up the meeting with a word of prayer? Maybe Mr. David.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lennox, and welcome. And let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with a lot of thanksgiving in our heart. We want to thank you even for an opportunity to engage and get educated. We want to thank you for the Kajiado We Want, which is a community-based organization, mainly dealing with issues of development and community issues. You will know, God, that this evening the speaker will shed more light on social entrepreneurship, because trade and job creation is one of our objectives, and it will go a long way into helping people to understand more about job creation, entrepreneurship, and even dealing with the organizations in the world that enable business to thrive. We thank you, we honor you. We pray this trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen. Back to you, moderator.
All right. First of all, I'd like to recognize the people who have just joined us. David Ndome, the man who has just taken us through the word of prayer. He's the chairman of Kajiado We Want. And I think he has given a brief description of what Kajiado We Want. It's a community-based organization that seeks to improve the society within Kajiado County. We also have Evelyn. She's also a member within the Kajiado We Want group. She's the glue that holds the group together. And we are very, very grateful for her. My name is Jeffrey Mundia. I am also a member of the Kajiado We Want group. I'd like to say I am under the Environment and Sanitation Committee because I'm also passionate about environment sustainability and protecting our environments. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so maybe David, would you like to speak a few words about Kajiado We Want, maybe to give Lennox a better idea of what we want to achieve as a group?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeff, and most appreciated. Once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this talk. We are the Kajiado We Want, which is a community-based organization, mainly collaborating with all residents of Kajiado, leaders, elected, appointed, or other leaders in order to make Kajiado great. Our motto is collaborating for greatness. We deal with 8 key objectives of development. One, issues to do with roads, street lighting, as well as drainage and general infrastructure. So we lobby government in order to bring this development to us, and we help people in participating in public in order to tell government and other actors on our priorities. Number 2, it is the issue of water, sanitation, sewerage, land use, and climate change. Again, we participate closely with the entities in government and others in order to bring the development that we want, manage garbage, and that kind of thing. Number 3, we are into health matters, drug abuse, and substance abuse, trying to help the youth and generally the people of Kajiado County in terms of dealing with those issues. Number 4, we are into the issues of education and literacy. We notice in some areas in Kajiado, especially Kajiado North, we have very few schools, public schools. So our aim as a priority is to lobby for more of schools in order for our children to get a place where they could go and train. The other key objective is on the issues of trade, industry, and job creation. We look at this being a key objective even for national government as a key area in which we can enlighten people on job creation, to partner with government and NGOs and create employment. We're also into the issues of community policing as well as security. As an entity, it's an area we feel that we should partner with the people who enforce security and also participate greatly in the matters of community policing. Then the other aspect of our existence is actually the issue to do with the lobbying government in order to achieve all this, and especially the issues of women, children, and youth. You notice in Kajiado County, we have some marginalized areas, vulnerable people, and people who need help. Try to advocate for women, children, and the youth generally. So those are the key areas that we tackle in the Kajiado We Want. And by talking about these issues every Wednesday from 7 p.m., we are enlightening people as well as talking to our leaders so that we can make Kajiado greater. Thank you very much, and back to you, moderator.
Thank you very much for the good introduction of Kajiado we want and what we try to achieve. Now, I'd like to give Lennox Omondi the floor so that he can give us more information and also talk to us about social entrepreneurship. I'd like to say it's not my first time hearing about Lennox Omondi. I was also in the Hult Prize. I wasn't participating, but I was following through, and I got to know that you were the winner. And once I saw this message that you will be our guest, I was very, very excited. So to everyone who is watching us from YouTube or Facebook, I'd like to give Lennox the floor, and he will now talk to us about social entrepreneurship. Karibu sana, Lennox.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, talking about social entrepreneurship, it's a vast and a broad topic with most of its focus on matters dealing with social problems. And I think more the social entrepreneurs who are venturing into the economy are now using design thinking to venture into social entrepreneurship. And so when I started my journey with social entrepreneurship, as a social entrepreneur, I didn't know that one day I will be a founder and a CEO of a company that make menstrual hygiene products. I didn't know that I'll be in that space, a social entrepreneur, or in that space of being a champion for menstrual hygiene, or even a champion for climate action. What I know is that I was trying to do something that is able to change the world, something to bring a solution to the environment, bring a solution to the society I was living in, bring a solution that could be sustainable. I was trying to build a solution that could be implemented, something that could be scalable. And at the end of it, I met Hult Prize. So the journey of the Hult Prize started this year. But before that, we were with the Hult Prize from 2020 when I was still a freshman at St. Paul's University. And doing my research around menstrual hygiene management, doing my research around matters on how we can best prevent period poverty or even eradicate period poverty, because the statistics from the UNICEF has it that 65% of the Kenyan girls and women are affected by period poverty. That is a huge number because it's almost half the serviceable market of menstrual hygiene products in Kenya, which is at 27 billion. And so to me, that was a challenge. And in that challenge, I was able to see opportunity because I saw that if the serviceable market is at 27 billion and 65% of the Kenyan girls or women are affected by poverty, then there's an opportunity there. And so that is when I started doing my research around menstrual hygiene products, sanitary products, tampons, and all that, and even menstrual hygiene management. And I realized that there have been, because in my mind, I was thinking of, can I build a company or an organization where we can be able to give sanitary towels, like donate sanitary towels for free to people who are affected by period poverty? But again, while doing this research, I realized that there have more these organizations, the NGOs, which distribute sanitary towels for free. But why is it that we still have 65% of the Kenyan girls and women having this problem? And so at the back of my mind, I also thought that if charity is not enough, then what is enough? Then it's business. And if business is enough, how best can we do it and make it more sustainable? And how best can we do it so that people whom we are giving the solution can also feel the impact, the traction of social entrepreneurship? And now that's when Eco-Bana was born. We started the journey in 2020, but with the Hult Prize, started the journey in January this year. And so we got in our first chance to compete at the regional summit, which was held in Johannesburg. And we competed against around 64 teams in Africa, emerged one. We secured a chance to compete now at the Global Accelerator, which brought around 28 teams from all over the world to compete at the semi-finals for the Hult Prize. And we competed at position 2, went to the finals as position 2, but after finals we emerged the winners of the $1 million Hult Prize. And so the ripple effect that it gives to social entrepreneurs, it's like a wide accolade for social entrepreneurs who are still in university, both undergrad or postgrad students who have solutions to bring and to make our world a better place. And so for us, we were able to demonstrate that we have a solution. We have seen a problem, which is not our own problem, but it's a problem which is being faced by people who are in our community. And so we are solving something we are part of. And because one of the things that most social entrepreneurs have assumed, that even I assumed when I was starting, was to assume the problem I'm having. Most people solve a problem that they think it's happening, they think it's their problem. But when you're solving a problem and it's a social problem, the problem needs to be felt by your society, by people you're solving that problem for. And so I start the journey by first defining who is my recipient for the solution. Then what is the problem I'm solving? Is it my own problem or is it a problem for the society? Once I get that right, I'll be able to know that whatever I'm solving is not only my problem, it is a problem for the whole society. And now that brings about social entrepreneurship. And I consider power of the foresight, because it is in the power of foresight that I'll be able to see beyond today. And I feel that seeing beyond today, it is in that moment that you'll be able to find a unique business idea, to be able to build a new and a unique business opportunity. Because what we do at Eco-Bana is we try to give opportunities, and we give these opportunities in terms of capacity building sessions. We try to give these opportunities through job creation. And because most people, they don't prefer getting charity or getting something wrapped in a charity bag or a gift hamper. But what they want is for them to get an opportunity to be able to afford to themselves what was afforded earlier, and also for them to be able to give to their families, to their children, to their brothers and daughters, and even their sisters, those opportunities to better themselves, to build themselves up, be able to flourish and enrich and nourish themselves as they grow into the world of social entrepreneurship. So first, one of the things I consider, as I had mentioned, is power of the foresight. It is in that be able to envision, to be able to see beyond today. Because in Kenya, I've realized that, and even seen that most social entrepreneurs, they fail because we don't want to be in to see the future. Most of us want to get, if I'd say in quotes, rich quickly, because social entrepreneurship, it's a long journey. It's a journey where you'll be able to meet other fellow startups who are in the same business, in the same field of innovation. But what sets somebody apart is the competitive advantage. What are you doing that somebody else who is in that space didn't do? Or if they missed it, how are you rectifying that mistake? And how are you getting it better than them? And so we need to understand our environment, because when I understand the environment I'm living in, I know there are problems. I know those problems because they are also my problem. So by the time I'm crafting a solution to solve the problems, I already know that whatever I'm solving is also my problem, meaning I'm bringing a solution, one which will not only help people but also help me as an individual who is living in the same society. And so I also believe that having a purpose uh, drives social entrepreneurship. And because even at the moment, the world is at a verge of global sustainability. And a lot of innovations that are being applauded nowadays are innovations that are climate smart, meaning they're innovations that are able to conserve the environment. There's innovations that are able to bring social impact. There's innovations that are able to solve our own problems. And so, if you're a social entrepreneur and you have a purpose, that purpose will drive you beyond even the power of the foresight. With a purpose, you'll be able to commit volunteer hours to the project that you're doing, will be it a startup that focuses on product or a startup that focuses on having will be able to help you to see and even you know work hard beyond the power of the foresight. And I'd like a say by Tony Lumelo that says that we don't need to be like a parrot in life. In life we need to be like eagles, because eagles, they have a mentality to see beyond others. There's a saying that says that also eagles, they don't fly with other birds, they don't fly with other ravens, they don't fly with other small birds, they don't fly with penguins, but what they do is they fly alone. Why are they flying alone? It means eagles fly with eagles. They're flying with like-minded individuals. If you're a social entrepreneur and you're trying to hang out with people still, and you try to bring a social entrepreneurship platform or a program, they'll be able to tell you, no, this is not going to work, or whatever you're trying has been done by many people, but they haven't gotten it right. And so, as a social entrepreneur, we just need to be like eagles. We need to fly or be with like-minded individuals, people who will be able to see the real purpose and the real power of innovation that we are seeing. Because it's not only in the living moment that matters, but seeing beyond the are you able to see in the long-term future what will happen in the next 25 years or in the next 10 years. An innovation can be a good innovation, but it will lack revenue, it will lack money, it will lack financial support at the moment. But in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years, it will be the next big thing. And this is just to bring out the whole aspect of being a social entrepreneur. It's a whole value chain. It's a whole value chain of product, just from the ideation stage to now prototyping, to where now you go into test, to beta testing of a product, to alpha testing of a product in the community that faces your own problem. And so that was also helped us when we were doing our journey as Eco-Bana, because a lot of students are now indulged into social entrepreneurship, because most entrepreneurs have said that social entrepreneurship at a glance is the next big thing. It is the next entrepreneurship space where young mind or young students or young individuals or young youths can be able to get themselves into and be able to solve world's most pressing ideas, solutions, problems, and bring a smart solution, bring solutions that are implementable, solutions that can be scalable, and also solutions that can be able to drive impact, social change. And again, many companies have different ways of measuring their success. You can be measuring a success by impact. Somebody can measure success by the number of sales they make. Somebody can measure success by the number of lives they impact, by the number of people they employ, by the number of individuals they talk to. Success varies from different enterprises. As an enterprise, you can be able to measure success even by the number of, if by growth. Let's say today you are in one county. In the next 2 to 5 years, you guys are broken even and you are even in 10 counties. That can be a success. And to some other people, success to them can be what they are giving, the value they are giving to their community. And because most enterprises do fail because people don't realize that before they get the value or before they get their product to the market, they need to understand what is the value. For us, we really had to make it a difference, because we realized that at the moment when we were innovating sanitary product, which is made from banana fibers, and after having to envision between and measure in between a bread and a sanitary product, because in Kenya sanitary towels are pretty much expensive. They cost two times the amount of a bread, because bread costs around 50 bob, but sanitary towel cost around 100 bob. And so for us, we really needed a strategy that could really help us to convince people to come on board, convince people to be able to buy our product, not because it is a good product, or not because it is a climate smart product, or because it's an innovative product, but because the product that we are going to sell into the market today is a product that had value, a product that you will be able to tell you that if you use this product, this and this is going to be your benefit. I think, and that is something that has really helped us a lot. We are defining our market by the value we are bringing into that market. We are not defining our market by the product that we are bringing. Of course, there are a lot of products, but what differs from the products is the value of each and every product that is in the market. And being that we are social entrepreneurs and we're still studying, balancing between education and social entrepreneurship might at times be hectic. It's just this like having a well pampered presentation with financial breaking even in the next 6 months. That is something on the presentation slide, but really what happens around is when you go be with those people, build that manufacturing plant, be able to do what you wanted to do in that period of time, you'll realize that whatever is in the presentation slide is totally different with what's really happening on the ground or in the environment where you're trying to solve your community problems too. And this is just an eye opener for social entrepreneurs, because we also need to tap into the opportunities that we get. And because the opportunities, they just won't come looking for you, telling you that oh, you are a social entrepreneur, I'm an opportunity, I've come looking for you. You are the right person I've been looking for. We need to go out and look for those opportunities, because for us, we also went out to look for those opportunities, be it abroad, be it internally in Kenya, Eastern Africa, and even in Africa. We have amazing programs for social entrepreneurs. We have amazing funding opportunities for social entrepreneurs. One of them is the Tony Lumelu Foundation. The Tony Lumelu Foundation is a foundation that is based in Nigeria, founded by the Tony Lumelu, who is an African philanthropist and business conglomerate, which every year they give social entrepreneurs $5,000 to be able to implement their solution. And apart from that, they give business incubation, mentorship sessions. They also give financial traction, how as a social entrepreneur you should be able to measure your revenue, you should be able to measure your income and everything. And so these are just opportunities that are there for the social entrepreneurs to tap into. Moving into that field, you also need to know, if I'm going to do this, who do I need to talk to? And I think most people realize there are those opportunities because you might be innovating something, but you've kept that idea to yourself for the fear of somebody is going to register the company before you do, patenting the company before you do, a product before you go and patent it. So I think that fear of losing out, fear of your idea being stolen, fear of you losing out on the company that you spent almost a decade on, is something you need to let go of, because let's weigh the odds. Because if you have fear that somebody will steal your company or steal your idea, plus having that mind to be reminded, share your idea with somebody, and you never know, even if your idea is going to be the next big thing in Africa or all over the world. Maybe your idea is the next big thing, but the fear that is letting you go, that the fear is still keeping you to still stay intact with your idea, cannot open doors for you because you've stayed put with the idea, you are with it, you don't want to share your idea with somebody. And I don't think there is any social entrepreneur who can be able to achieve something without a team. So you also need a team to be able to, you need a team to be able to work out your plan, because different it's in teamwork where we generate better ideas. You might have an idea that works this way, but through a team you might be able to collect even better ideas and incorporate uh better what do you say, you might even incorporate better ideology on how to bring the product into life, or even if it's a service company, on how to make your services to your customers be worth it. For us, we are a team of 4 co-founders, but we have a chain of over 25 major employees who now work in our fiber reaping stations, pulp packing stations, even in packaging and distribution of the sanitary products. And we didn't achieve that just by one person, because I had the idea. I didn't achieve all that by myself. I needed to have a team which is passion driven, a team which has a mind for business and a heart for the world. In that, by the end of the day, the way we measure our successes, or the way we do what we do at Eco-Bana, is something that is passionately driven. It's something that is we are able to see beyond today. What if we're giving a product, our product can be able to last in the next 30 to 40 years to come, not in the next 2 weeks, meaning it's not sustainable. If you start a company today as a social entrepreneur, but your service or your product cannot last for the next 10 years, it is not sustainable. It is something seasonal. And a sustainable business brings a sustainable business model. It brings about revenue. It brings about getting more investors into the company, getting more uh, like-minded business people coming on board to advise you on how you should better work your idea. And so other thing is, I think we have a norm in Kenya where a lot of social entrepreneurs, their startups die at a very young age, which is acceptable, and it's also real because it's true that most of the ideas don't make it uh, to the financing level, or to that level where they now get to be like a multi-billion-dollar company. This is because I think most people are just being in an environment where if somebody shuts you down, that you're not able to do that thing, or you're not able to do this, you're not able to execute, you don't have the expertise, you don't have the to drive that business, it demoralizes somebody as a person. But if you know what your vision is, if you know your passion, if you know this is what I'm going for, this is what I'm going to do, this is the change I want to bring into the world through social entrepreneurship, it is something that I'm going to do, I'll be able to do it. And no matter what happens, it is something that you'll be able to do. And I like to use an example of an eagle so much, because an eagle is it's a bird of one of a kind. It's a bird which is fearless, and it's fearless in the sense of an eagle will be able to spot its prey five, let me say 5 kilometers away, but it will not stop because of the distance of the prey. It will not stop because of the weight of the prey. It will not stop because of the height of the prey. It will not stop because of the nature of the prey. This is to mean that no matter how big your problems are, no matter how big the problems you're facing as a social entrepreneur, and no matter how setbacks you get, no matter how many times you feel like giving up and leaving your idea unattended, you need to be like an eagle, be fearless, face your problems, face your fears, face your shortcomings, if I may say so, so that you'll be able to, at the end of the day, design a beautiful solution to your product, design a beautiful solution to most pressing um, climatic challenges, to more pressing world problems, societal problems, with a beautiful but innovative solution, which is sustainable, which is scalable, and one that can be implemented. And I also like to say on matters menstrual hygiene management, because that is mostly where our company is surrounded and situated for. We are champions for menstrual hygiene management, mostly because when we did our social mapping, we realized that somebody can be able to have sanitary products in their bags, but they don't know how to use them. Meaning is that have been there before don't give exact or don't give enough knowledge on how to use the sanitary products, or when they don't train even girls, younger girls who still don't know what even sanitary products are, younger girls who still don't even know what menses are and all that, the exact knowledge, awareness creation on matters menstrual hygiene products. Because we were very sure to realize that somebody has menstrual hygiene uh, product, which is a sanitary pad in their bag, but they don't use it. The reason being they're waiting for something blue to come out of them so that they'll be able to use that product. And this is evident because in our in our adverts for sanitary products, our adverts are only showing that a sanitary towel is used when something blue comes out, not when something red. And that's why there's been a lot of advocacy saying that periods are not blue, periods are red, because as kids grow, we say, even in Proverbs 22, verse 6, train up a child in a way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And when kids continue watching the adverts that we give to them, that sanitary products are being tested in the promo videos having a blue fluid, for them they'll be going to wait for that blue fluid first to come out into them so that they can be able to use the sanitary products. So this is a norm and a verge that is repeatedly into the community, that it's high time as social entrepreneurs craft out or skillfully craft out sustainable solutions that could be even enough to have something sustainable on around menstrual hygiene information, because we give out a lot of information, most of them which are very wrong, and most of them which are very irrelevant to the recipient. Because I feel like information given to a girl of age 9 to age 15 should not be the same information given to a lady of age 30 to 35 or 30 to 40 years. These are two different segments of girls going into their menstruation period, but we feed all of them the same information. We don't rectify that this person needs to get this information, this person also needs to get this information. And so, as a social entrepreneur, differentiating how you channel your information, which sector of your customers or of your recipients you need to get first-hand information in a certain way, crafted or designed in a certain way, and which other cohort of your customers need to get an information with a less explanation or with lesser huge terms simplified, so that they can know how best to use a service or a product. So information channeling for social entrepreneurs is also of the key essence, and also of uh, effort, not only for the customers, but also for the investors. Because today you tell an investor that as a social entrepreneur, I'm channeling my information through this method, and I'm doing this because I felt like this is the way. But what if the investor tells in that space there's somebody else who is doing that, the same solution you're bringing, but they're also using the same communication method that you're going to use. But if you go again and say that if they've been communication channel a long time, and they still can't rectify the problem that's in the market, there must be something wrong somewhere. And so communication channeling, communication is of the essence, it's of the key. As an entrepreneur, how do you channel your communication to reach your recipient customers, investors, or even just the community, if it's for social awareness, even if it's for um, information tackling and all that. Yeah. And so that is what I had for today and for about social entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. I'd like to take it back to the moderator to see if there is any question, and I could take the questions ASAP. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Lennox, for the insightful talk. I believe everyone has gathered a lot of information from what Lennox has just talked to us about. Let me talk about what I have gathered from Lennox's talk. First of all, in order to be, what I've gathered, what I've heard from him is that in order to be a social entrepreneur, you have to have foresight. As they say, you can't know where you are until you look into the past, and you cannot know where to be in the future until you look at your present. And so therefore, so foresight is, I also agree with you, is something very, very, very important when being a social, not only just a social entrepreneur, but also a general entrepreneur. Also, you talked about purpose. You said that you need to have purpose in order to achieve your social entrepreneurial goals. Purpose, I also agree with that. Purpose is something very, very important because if you lack purpose, you will be easily swayed by the wind. And if you don't have purpose, you'll find yourself not achieving what you had set yourself to achieve. And you also said all problems are solvable. Under God, there's nothing that is impossible. Yeah. Maybe if I will have a question is maybe tell us, Lennox, maybe you could tell us some of the challenges you faced when going through this journey and maybe when bringing this product into the market.
Okay, I face a lot of challenges. That is a huge one. But I think one of the things I need to appreciate myself mostly about is because even though I faced all these challenges, first I faced them alone when I was starting, and now having a team, we faced them together, is that we were able to wear them just as a byproduct of the journey. Because if you don't enjoy the journey of social entrepreneurship, like if you don't even celebrate a small win, even if your goal was to get a pen, if you get that pen and you don't celebrate yourself getting that pen, I think you're not going to enjoy the journey. The journey should be smooth. You should be able to enjoy the journey from the moment you start to the moment where you'll say that now I have met my mission, I've met my vision. And so one of the first challenges that we encountered was for you to be able to get fibers from banana trunks or from the banana pseudostem, you need a machine. And if you don't have a machine, you are going to do it manually. And I tell you, believe you me, doing it manually for you to squeeze the juice out from the banana pseudostem, for you to not only get the fiber, is a lot of load of work. But we did it. It was a really challenge to us because at the end of the day, our hands could get sores all over, they could swell all over. But at the end of the day, what mattered was how do we feel when you're waking up? When we woke up the next day, yes, our hands were swollen, but we already met a goal. Our goal that day was to be able to get fiber or to be able to get the first step for us to produce the product. So even though we had that challenge at the beginning, before we got our seed fund to buy machines and all that, we we were having that challenge, but that challenge never let us down. It's a challenge that we had, but the way we felt after waking up was, wow, we've met one goal. So let's heal and let's get back to work again. And so another challenge that we got was everybody knows in Kenya, before you sell your product, you need to be verified by KEBS. You need to go to a lot of verification processes here and there. You need to pay people. This is Kenya. You need to pay more than one person for you to be able to get for you to be able to get that certification. And so to do it without, in quotes, connection is a road, because if you don't have somebody who is holding your hand, telling you to do this at this moment, do this at that moment, now do this here, now stop doing this and do that there, is also another serious problem. So we really needed again to get somebody who can hold our hand, and somebody who can be able to do it pro bono, because most people don't commit to their time pro bono. Somebody will tell you, if I'm going to guide you on how to build your enterprise, I'm going to need like around maybe 25% equity of your company, or I'm going to need even 10% equity. And to us, we didn't feel like we want to give equity at the moment, because if we give equity at that moment, what are we going to do in the next 5 to 10 years, when now we'll have built a good business and investors coming in and they don't have any shares to take? So those were our two major challenges. But at the end of the day, we made our first MVP, minimum viable product. After getting those fibers, we went the long run of doing everything manually until we had our first MVP. Although it was not a good product, it was just an MVP, a proof of concept. It was just to show that we are able to do something beyond just a paper idea. You can have an idea, but it's still an idea on paper. You need to put more efforts to show an investor that I've proved that my idea, which is on paper, is able to work, and this is my idea in my hands right now. And so we just wanted to show that we are able to do more, and we are able to show people that we believe in our idea, and that's why we've been able to build our first MVP. So those were our major challenges, and I think after that we are able to go into different competitions. We were able to get our first seed fund from Kenya Climate Innovation Center. So we went in for the competition for clean tech innovation competition. Around 300 teams from Kenya were participating, and at the end of the day, we emerged the winners, and it was sponsored by SICPA, Switzerland Embassy in Nairobi, and we got a seed fund of 900,000 Kenyan shillings. And so that was an eye opener for us. We started with it, bought our first two machines for fiber ripping, for pulp making, and pads binding machine, for us to be able to produce into the market. And after that, with the knowledge that we got from business incubation, from the Kenya Climate Innovation Center, you are able to craft a good product. You're able to do the legal formalities, they're able to register the company, patent the idea, and just do everything revolving that. Yeah, that was too much.
Thank you very much, Lennox. Guys from Facebook, YouTube, please feel free to share your questions, ask your questions, write down any comments, and we will be sure to answer them. Maybe I have one more question, the last one.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell us your product name, inaitwaje, ndio maybe tunaambia our fellow sisters to get them.
Yeah, so the name didn't change. The company is called Eco-Bana, Eco-Bana Limited, but the product is still Eco-Bana. Let me show you one of them. This is how the product looks like. This is the packaging of the product. Yeah, this one. It has 8 pieces of sanitary towels inside, biodegradable, plastic-free, 100% comfort and no leak. And yeah, this is how it looks like. Though we are not selling on the shelves, because our business model is B2B, it's not B2C. Most of it is business to business. We get orders from different charitable organizations or different relief agencies, such as the UNICEF, the United Nations, or even big hyperstores and hypermarket stores all over the country. And we are even selling in Egypt. We are selling also in Nigeria and in the US, because that's where we got the seed fund and where the mother company is. So it's just Eco-Bana. Everything is Eco-Bana, Eco-Bana. The company name Eco-Bana, the product is just Eco. Didn't change the name. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for the clarification. I don't know, maybe if you,
You're welcome.
I don't know if anyone brought this up, but you're not only solving one SDG for SDG 5. I don't know if it's,
Yeah,
you're also saving, you also tackling environment pollution and environmental sustainability, because we know these sanitary pads are, since especially in Kenya, they're not well managed. It causes a
yeah, because
huge environmental problem. Yeah.
yeah, um, oh, it's true. We are not solving one sustainable development goal, but on matters sustainability and climate action, the sanitary towels in the market, in the Kenyan market today, are 91% plastic, meaning we have an equivalence of 4 plastic bags in one pad, in one piece of pad. And this is a huge problem. I think this is why most ladies complain of having uh, itches, burns after they wear the sanitary towels for so long. And so we are also solving that because ours is biodegradable. It will degenerate back into the soil. And at the value of sustainability, social entrepreneurship, one which is climate smart, one which is scalable and be able to drive impact and traction, is also able to, solve climatic condition or climatic problems. Because even what we are using as our raw material, most farmers just leave them to rot on the ground. Some even opt to feed them to feed them to cows, or just leave them there on the farms after harvesting the banana fruit. And so to us, we are turning that waste into value. And because even people say that a waste is not a waste until you waste it. So at that moment where the farmer will decide to waste it, that is the moment where we'll now be coming in with the concept of green and circular economy, to turn that waste into a valuable product that we are using to make our sanitary towel. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the point that you've said waste is not waste until you waste it. That's very, very
Yeah.
insightful. We have some comments from Facebook. One is saying, well done, keep the spirit, Mr. Lennox. The other one is saying, nice presentation from Lennox, especially the teamwork aspect and the public awareness on the adverts concerning the sanitary towels should be given a deeper look. Thanks, Sana. Yes, some positive feedback from Facebook. I'd like to open the floor to anyone
Thank you.
else who has any question, any comment.
That was very powerful, Mr. Lennox. I've really learned a lot.
Thank you.
As old as I am, I'm still learning. My question, I have a lot of questions, yeah? Why decide to
Let's
solve a
have them.
girl's why decide to solve a girl's problem? And there are so many other problems out there. Was it not embarrassing telling people you're looking at you're working on pads? Because it's quite embarrassing when you tell people that's your goal. How did you go about it?
Yeah. I don't think it's embarrassing at the moment. Right now, it's not embarrassing. But when we started, I didn't have that thought of it being embarrassing. Of course, at some point of the journey, it was, because people would call me names like Padman, Padboy, and all that. But to me, it felt like menstrual hygiene is not a woman problem. It is a human problem. It is not one problem to solve. It's just a problem left for girls to struggle with. It is not one problem left for just women to struggle with. And so to me, I view menstrual period poverty as a problem for not only women, but a human problem, meaning it is a round table problem that everybody should be having. It's a round table problem where we should include men. And I mean, right now, when the leaders converged at the UNGA assembly in New York, it happened that at that moment, when even our president was at that summit in New York, we were also doing our presentation in New York. And so it was also a blooming, because it was also nice, because once we finished our presentation and we announced the winners in New York, the president, when he tweeted, and even the conversations that followed at the UNGA National Assembly meeting, was that menstrual hygiene is something that should be talked about. Many people say that we women have been empowered, that they can be able to solve their own problems, but they have been empowered, no problem. But their empowerment is not even being felt. They have been empowered, but they are not being seen. They have been empowered, but they are not bold enough, or there are not those opportunities that they're bold enough to come out and speak out to themselves that we have this problem, we should be heard. And so personally, I felt like I'm going into that space not because I'm a man, not because I'm somebody. At that time when I was starting, I was going into that space because I felt like this is something that it is an opportunity for me to grow myself. It is an opportunity for me to be able to show to other fellow men, to other fellow human beings, that menstrual hygiene or period poverty is not a women problem. This is a human problem. Let's put hands together. Let's have men speaking about menstruation. Let's have men speaking about menstrual hygiene products, menstrual hygiene management in the global spaces or even in the local spaces, because even in some communities, menstrual hygiene is still considered a taboo. And it really pains me sometimes to read an article. Even like last week, I was reading an article from Nepal that girls in Nepal, in some part of Nepal, who who menstruate when they're in their menstrual period, they are not allowed to drink water from the same pot. They are being told that they are going to contaminate that pot. If they drink from the same pot with their fellow kids, their fellow women, their fellow brothers, they are going to contaminate that water. And even menstrual hygiene in that area is still being considered as a bad luck. I really feel that this is something, these are the norms that we need to eradicate. These are the norms that still makes some of our girls in Kenya to trade sex for parts, because they don't have that courage, they don't have that energy and even that confidence to go into to tell their parents or their father, I need 100 bob, or I need 200 bob to go and buy sanitary towels, because they fear that their parents or even their fathers are going to laugh. They are going to be scolded. They're going to be told, you know what, go away, don't do this. This is just lack of misinformation. And even men, they need to stand up, step up their game, be able to speak about it, because the more we don't speak about it as men, the more we don't speak about it in the spaces that we go into, the more we don't speak about it even in conferences, even in meetings, the more that problem is just still going to raise from 65% even to 80%. And when you're at that point of 80%, girls and women are being affected by period poverty in Kenya, I think as a country, we'd be on the wrong side of even achieving sustainability, or even achieving gender equality as, as a sustainable goal. So I did feel bad at the moment when I was starting, but along the way, I learned a lot about menstrual hygiene. I learned a lot about periods. I learned a lot about what girls go through. I was able to put myself in those shoes and be able to understand that this is what happens. It happens only once a week, but in that week, what happens? I was submerged into that. I felt it, I learned about it, I embraced it, and that's why I realized and said that I'm going to empower these women. I'm going to give out these opportunities, uh, create these job opportunities to these women to be able to afford to themselves what they couldn't afford earlier. I was very empowered to go into even talk to other fellow men, because after winning the Hult Prize in New York, we were able to even go to a USAID Menstrual Hygiene Declaration event where I was able to talk to 8 governors from Kenya, tell them about menstrual hygiene. And they were all men except the governor for Homa Bay County, who's a woman only. And so I really feel that it is not a one-sided problem. Let's not look at it that menstrual hygiene is a women problem, or menstrual hygiene is a girl thing, or this is a thing for gender. This is a universal problem. It is a human problem. And a human problem doesn't require one gender solution. It requires a universal solution. It requires a solution that is united. And it is only a united solution it's not only when we have a universal solution, when we can that is when we can be able to solve our problems. Because if you want to solve our problems but we are one-sided, the scale is not balancing. We have men here, we have women down here, we will not be able to solve all these our problems. And so unity is also of this as we solve menstrual hygiene problems, other social problems. Yeah, and it's really cool being a man talking about menstrual hygiene, period poverty, and all that. It really gives a lot of respect because I've experienced it in the talks I've experienced it in the global spaces I've gone to, the African spaces, the Kenyan spaces I've gone to, speaking about menstrual hygiene. It opens the eyes of other men who are in that meeting, event, summit, or whatever it is. So it's really cool being a man solving menstrual problem and a challenge. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just to go to the next question is, Kajiado has a big challenge. Quite a number of students don't go to school when they get their periods because they can't afford the pads. I don't know how we can partner, because we try to send sanitary towels, but it's quite expensive, donating to schools. So I don't know how you're working out with communities so that we can get the girl child back to school.
Yeah. The One of the wishes that we have is to make sure that we have 0% of a girl missing out to go to school because of lack of sanitary towels. So what we did and what we now plan to buy, because now we are expanding to set two manufacturing plants, two big manufacturing plants. One will be in Kisii and another one will be in Meru. But apart from that, we are also going to have many distribution stations or in all the 47 counties in Kenya, and even as expand in Africa and globally. So we are going to tackle that in a way that through partnership with the government, the county government, because every county government in Kenya today has a fund or has a kitty for menstrual products. They should not be expensive, but they are expensive. So we accept, first of all, that yes, they're there, but they are expensive. And so what are we doing if they're expensive? Our sanitary products are cost effective. They're hygienic, comfortable, and accessible. And so even though we are going B2B business model, we are also going to sell B2C, but on the lower margin of the business. So if we don't focus on the business side of it, what we're going to do is to make sure that we partner with the government and even the NGOs, the CBOs, to be able to buy from us the sanitary products at an affordable price. And as they do that, we as company, as the Eco-Bana company, we also have a kitty in our company where every month or every month, after every 2 months or every 1 month, we identify a region where people poverty is mostly taking high number of tolls. Then we go there, give sanitary products, and it's one way of doing product even testing or even doing an alpha testing. Give out a product, sit there as the person use your product, and you will be able to get those feedbacks. And so once we get a positive feedback from it, we are going to visit once they welcome, because this is a new solution. They are not the same parts that are in the market. It's a new sanitary product. If they embrace that solution, what we do again, write to the CBOs, the NGOs, and the county governments, because we will be now doing mass production of sanitary products, and even go to the schools. We'll be having sanitary dispensers situated all over. I'm not just sure how many will be in per county, but what I know, most of the sanitary dispensers going to be in public places or inside the schools, public schools, and even private schools, because this approach is also universal. So that is one of the ways we're going to tackle it. Deploy sanitary dispensers, partner with the county governments, partner with the NGOs, partner with the charitable organizations, partner with the relief agencies, partner with even also the CBOs, and even some of the leaders, because I realize that most people do charity, but their impact is not felt. Somebody does charity, but you don't even know that charity was done in that area, or even funds were distributed in that area. So as a person, we'll be able to also create that awareness creation. And as I said earlier, capacity building sessions is also of the essence. So as we do charity, or as we deploy the sanitary products, the sanitary dispensers and everything, at the verge of it, at the key point of it, we're going to also have those capacity building sessions to be able to train, to teach, and also to empower on the importance of creating a social enterprise, or also for the importance of tapping up into those opportunities that we have as a community, as a country. Yeah.
Uh, Maybe just one last one from my end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there are quite a number of youths who are looking for jobs, but jobs are not there. But they can definitely start
Yeah.
social entrepreneurship. But I believe they have no idea how to start it. Is there like a mentorship? How can they go about it?
Yeah, I think if somebody wants to enroll into social entrepreneurship, it is a decision. It should be an internal decision. That, you know what, I've seen you go into entrepreneurship. You'll go there, be trained, or go to those sessions and everything, but you realize that it is not meant for you, or it is a very hard path, a very hard decision on the long run. And so, starting out, after making that decision internally with yourself, agreeing with yourself that indeed I want to be a social entrepreneur, the next thing is that you need to figure out what are you going to do in the space of social entrepreneurship. What problem are you going to solve, and how are you going to solve it? Because you can't start building a house with the roof. You need to set up the foundation. So after getting self-realization that I know and I've accepted that I'm going into social entrepreneurship, I also know that as I go through that, this is going to be the solution, and this is going to be the problem. So if you've identified the problem you're trying to solve, and you've known that, I think even before knowing the solution, just identifying that this is the problem, then somebody can now walk into the hubs. In Kenya, we have like for me, what worked for me was the Kenya Climate Innovation Center. They have free they have free capacity building, not capacity building, free business incubation for every entrepreneur. You just enroll into that. They have different cohorts hosted in Strathmore University every Saturday. It's a free mentorship. They walk you through the design thinking program. And so through the design thinking, once you know that this is a problem, from the by the end of that program, you'll be able to have learned how to build a scalable enterprise, how to build a solution from the problem that you identified earlier. And you've been able also to tap into different funding opportunities for social entrepreneurs in Kenya, social innovators, social entrepreneurs also. And so that is one of the programs that was sufficient for me. It was a program that was a smooth transition. There's also Ajira Digital. The Ajira, they'll do it online because they want to uh, incorporate everybody, even from the rural settings. And yeah, so I think Kenya Climate Innovation Center is one which is good. It is sponsored by the government. It's a free one. You register with them. They'll give you that free training. They'll give you the funding opportunities. They give ideation process, the design thinking process from the ideation, prototyping, MVP, shareholder engagement. You are at the point where now you are going into the market with your product or with your service. So it is just a full business incubation. And so apart from that also, we also have different programs. Like we have the LEAP program, we have the African Impact program, we have the Fishbowl program. These are programs that are online, but they're free programs. But what they require is your time. And so if you're not able to invest or create time for you to build a social entrepreneurship program course or build your social enterprise, you are going to be there halfway. Like African Impact, it's a 4-month intensive program. They train you on the same. In fact, what they need from you is just you've agreed that you're going to be a social entrepreneur. Yes. After saying yes, they're going to give you problems in your community. If you're not able to see them, they're going to craft them down for you. Then they're also going to leave you alone to design your solution. And after designing a solution, they're going to help you to modify that solution. And if it reaches a point that your solution is coming out to be a product or it is coming out to be a service, they now enroll you into a 2-week business incubation. If you reach that point where you are going for the 2-week incubation, they fly you to University of California, where you'll also be getting funding as a social entrepreneur. So all this, it requires your time, dedication, hard work, persistence, and consistency. Because if you attend today, you don't attend tomorrow, there you miss again for 3 other weeks, you'll be enrolled out of the program. So there are those programs. The programs are out there, but as a person who is going into social entrepreneurship, are you able to commit yourself? Are you able to commit your time and be able to attend and be able to gain at the end of it? Because as I even said earlier, it's just the vision for foresight. As you enroll into that program, are you able to see that in the next 6 months, I'll be done with this program, I'll be getting funding, I'll be already having my, because it starts as a side hustle, from a side hustle to now a plant where you also have your employees, you also have your fellow co-founders. So are you able to see that in the next 6 months, I'll be done with this program? In the next 6 months, I'll be starting to generate revenue. The moment you start generating revenue, you are already in the Kenyan economy. You can invest in other businesses, you can generate income from other startups, from other organizations. And from that point, again, you'll be able to mentor young people, you'll be able to help other young entrepreneurs to bring up their startups, to build their startups, to grow themselves up. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lennox, for giving us that clarification, and I'm sure that information will be helpful and to any listener on this platform. You've shared very many different programs, incubators, and hubs that promote entrepreneurship and also give mentoring, assist in funding, and also networking. And I think that's the major issue facing any starting entrepreneur. I'd like to give Evelyn the floor so that she can give us closing remarks considering the time. Evelyn, could you take the floor, please?
Okay. Today was a very insightful day from a very young gentleman, Lennox. I'm still learning a lot. I've written a lot of notes, and I'm thinking also going for incubation. I don't know whether my age allows. Or is it for young people?
It does allow you.
Okay, but before maybe I do my last, my vote of thanks. Now with all that money, how are you working? Because everybody is now looking at you differently. Because everybody now wants a piece of cake, yeah? How do you stay sane?
They never worked for it, but they want to. When we came back from New York, I think that is when I didn't have movement here and there. But yeah, I'm moving around. It's just that I'm not using public transport, so it's very difficult for somebody to notice me, and I'm always on a mask when I'm out there. So,
Okay. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much, Lennox. I called you and you agreed, you didn't let me down. I'm really honored. I've really learned a lot about innovation, and then you've talked about the SDGs. Out of the 17, I've tried to tick. I think you've touched on almost everything about no poverty, sanitation. There are quite a number of which you've touched. Well done. We are looking forward working with you. We have a big challenge in Kajiado, and I believe we'll find solutions. I want to say again thank you, and also want to say thank you to all those who turned on to listen to Lennox. Asanteni sana. And I want to end the session with a word of prayer. Okay, dear Heavenly Father, we come before you to say thank you for the day that you have given us. We are looking forward for another day. Lord, we ask you to open doors so that we can touch those people who have problems with sanitary towels. May it be a problem of the past. Lord, we also give thanks to Lennox, who has given us insights about incubation and business ideas. Thank you, dear God. We pray that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
thank you so much, guys, for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, asanteni.
Maybe before Mr. Lennox leave, we will love to share, have you share your social handles. Maybe you have fans here on Facebook, YouTube. They would like some mentoring or reach out. How can people reach you?
Yeah. So I have an active LinkedIn account, Lennox Omondi. Instagram, it's lennox.omondi.e. And my email is omondilennox75@gmail.com. Yeah, I'll be able to respond within a flash. Yeah, and also, if that can be a difficult time, maybe you can check us out. We have a live website, www.eco-banalimited.com. Our social medias in Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram is Eco-Bana Limited. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I'll also look for you. I had some plans to go to the Kenya Climate and Innovation Center, and I would love to get some insight from you. And thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, sharing your ideas, and giving many people encouragement in following through with their ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you're welcome. And